Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matthias the Corgi, and this is another episode of An Unforgettable Moment. The series where we talk about situations in gaming that are, well, unforgettable. Now, if I sound a little bit groggy or tired to you, I'm sorry. I just woke up. It's currently 4:30 in the morning while I'm recording this, and while I am usually awake at this hour, I took a little nap. So, bear with me. Now, today's episode is about a boss fight. A boss fight from an incredible game. A boss fight that proved to be quite a challenge for anyone who dared to face it. Now, throughout the history of games, boss fights have always been there to test your abilities after completing a specific area or reaching a checkpoint in the story. In this particular case, I think I can safely say that this boss fight is the toughest of this particular game. Now, that game being Undertale, an amazing indie game made by Toby Fox. Now, the game itself presented a different idea of combat and progression. It took your normal RPG elements and molded them into something special. As an example, other games with RPG combat mechanics like Final Fantasy, Persona, or Crosscode use that leveling or grinding mechanic to make your player character or party stronger. This is through the defeat of enemies in the game, which upon defeat provide you EXP, or experience points. The higher level you are, the more EXP you will need, which will in turn require the defeat of more enemies. And the process repeats itself. This is why it's referred to as grinding, because you are slowly grinding the battles for EXP. Or leveling, because you are leveling up through battles and becoming stronger. Now, Undertale does this differently. It gives you the option to defeat your enemies and obtain EXP and level up, or you can spare them, thus resolving the conflict peacefully and sacrificing that EXP and level that you would obtain to have higher hit points, for example. Depending on how you handle the fights and enemies, the game changes into one of three main routes. The pacifist route, where you don't revoke any enemy subscription to life and resolve all matters as peacefully as possible. The neutral route, where you can be picky as to who you want to throw hands with and who you want to persuade. And the bad route, because I'm pretty sure I can't say that word on YouTube, where you defeat anything that moves or doesn't, everyone for themselves, and you
Show them that the only thing they fear is you.
Sorry, got a little bit carried away there. Now, throughout the game, you meet a lot of colorful characters, and one in particular is very special. In the pacifist route, they offer a good time, crack jokes, and they even treat you to a meal. Once you dive a little bit more into the lore, you find out that they are mostly observing you. Now, which character are we referencing today? A lot of you might already know this, but it's none other than Sans, one of the Skeleton brothers who mostly seems laid back and with a pretty chill attitude in general. Again, this is all mostly in the pacifist route. Now, in the bad route, they still do most of the things that were mentioned previously, but this time they're going to give you a very, very bad time. Once you complete most of the game, you eventually reach an area where you will be judged by Sans. And here is where the aforementioned EXP and level, or love as it is referred to in-game, is taken into consideration. It is revealed by Sans that EXP stands for execution points, and love stands for level of violence. The amount of enemies that you have defeated are actually a part of the mechanic for the world and story. You can notice this in every aspect, even small dialogues, where in the pacifist route, everyone seems happy and treats you well. In the neutral route, you start to notice that there are fewer and fewer NPCs in the towns, depending on how many enemies you defeated. And in the bad route, you are actually dooming the kingdom, and people see you as a monster. Ironic that the human is the monster, even among monsters. My first ever playthrough of Undertale was a long time ago, back when I used to stream. A part of the Undertale community came to just chill and watch. I had heard that the Undertale community was a little toxic and pushy, but I gotta say, my experience was very pleasant. They literally did not judge me, they just told me to play it how I wanted to and to just enjoy the game in general. Now that playthrough was a pacifist route, and I chose it because I had seen my favorite YouTubers play it that way. So, whilst I was recording the footage for this video on the bad route, I actually felt, well, bad. Call me crazy for saying that about video game characters, but I legitimately felt bad. Playing the bad route means that your EXP and your love are always at the highest point they can be, as it requires you to wipe out every enemy in the current area before moving on to the next. Seeing that you are a literal walking calamity, Sans takes it upon himself to stop you and shows you that it takes a monster to stop a monster. This is our iconic boss fight, the boss fight against Sans. As we had mentioned, this is an overall iconic boss fight. Now there are many reasons to this, so let's start with the difficulty. Sans' boss fight is by far the most difficult boss fight in the game, even harder than the final boss fight. So please bear witness to the failure that is my attempts and my gameplay. This is due to the fact that Sans doesn't pull back his punches. Oh, wait, someone came for kisses. Baby, go back to sleep. It's 4:30 in the morning. Go back to sleep, come on. Anda, go yee, go yee. Go yee, go yee. Go yee, baby, go yee. Sorry about that, my dog wanted cuddles. This is due to the fact that Sans doesn't pull back his punches. Whilst other bosses in the game slowly work their way up and add more mechanics to their attacks, Sans just goes for it, hitting you with a flurry of blows right off the bat without giving you time to breathe. He even says something along the lines of, I don't know why others don't start off with their strongest attack. He also dodges your attacks. What, did you think he's just going to stand there and take it? Sans avoids almost every attack thrown at him in order to level the playing field. He is treating you the same way you treated every monster you encountered before him. He is trying to finish you off. For up to 24 turns, he can be dodging your attacks, which means you are here for a very long and arduous fight. Throughout this fight, you deal with an onslaught of attacks, tricks, and high damage from Sans. He even starts attacking your menu, causing you damage in your own action phase. Another one of the reasons this fight is the topic of today's video is the music. If it moved, I'm sorry. Someone came back for cuddles and I accidentally clicked. So I'm sorry if that triggers someone. Megalovania is the name of the original soundtrack or OST for this specific fight. Now let me tell you that Undertale has great music. And Megalovania is a fast-paced and rougher sounding soundtrack compared to the rest of the game. For example, Bone Trousel, that's how you pronounce it, right? Which is Papyrus theme, is quirky and not too serious. Undyne's theme, Battle Against the True Hero, is more serious but has a more heroic vibe to it. Megalovania, on the other hand, is a fitting soundtrack of two incredibly powerful individuals throwing everything that they have at each other in order to come out on top. Make a mistake and you suffer the consequences. Sans makes a mistake and he also suffers consequences. It perfectly entails an all or nothing vibe for the fight. This is such an incredible OST that I'm pretty sure that anyone who was stuck on Sans for a very long time was practically hearing it in their sleep. Now, music and difficulty are some of the main characteristics for the fame of this boss fight. However, the circumstance in this story also influences this decision. On any playthrough, Sans will always have the reveal of the EXP and love mechanic, and he will always judge you and determine your fate. The very first time you play, this specific encounter is always a contradiction to all of his previous interactions with you and his normal attitude. Sure, he might give you a warning or two on a bad route, but you really didn't take him seriously. As well, it is revealed that this game works in timelines. Every time you reset the game, you essentially start a new timeline. Now guess who throws a comment here or there about their knowledge of those timelines? It's pretty sad to think because in a previous timeline, you could have been his best friend. And now you took everything from him. He also remembers that you keep coming back after he defeats you. His dialogue in the fight even mentions many of these things. Truth be told, it's great design. Imagine remembering other iterations of a person's actions, and now you alone are the one thing that stands tall against the monster. But you know that you're basically just stalling for time. Eventually, they will win. Eventually, they will defeat you. And eventually a new timeline will begin, and you hope that there and then, this person will be a good person. Now, there is a lot, and I mean a lot more lore to that, which I don't have time for on this video. And apart from the fact that I'm not an expert on that subject. So I recommend to watch a video on that specific topic. Trust me, it's a lot, and it's also very, very interesting. Sans and Megalovania gave a whole new level of difficulty to Undertale, and even started a meme due to that specific OST, whilst at the same time traumatizing a bunch of people of that community. Undertale itself was iconic. It was brought to consoles, it made a collaboration with Smash Bros., which that in and of itself says a lot, and it also gave leeway for Toby Fox to start Deltarune. Whilst Undertale as a whole is iconic, Sans continues to be one of the biggest obstacles in the game, and a moment that was unforgettable. Thanks for watching the video. Sorry the gameplay footage is all over the place. Believe you me, I had to play the game 4 times to get an actual bad run, but that's just because I'm dumb. The first playthrough I did was accidentally a neutral run, and I found that out when I reached Sans. The second, I also did neutral by accident. I asked a friend for advice and they told me to just keep going until there were no more monster encounters. And since I reached areas and was just walking around for more than 10 minutes and there was no encounter, I thought I was safe. Then I reached Sans again and I figured out that I wasn't safe. The third time I did do an actual bad run. But after getting to Sans, I realized I had forgotten to record the Mettaton fight, which is my favorite fight. So I restarted. And during that 4th restart, and since it was 7 AM, literally right after my graveyard shift at my job ended, and I had a buttload of coffee, I ended up throwing in the towel halfway through that route. So I ended up loading a save to fight Sans. So again, I'm sorry if it's all over the place. Now, another thing, I wasn't actually going to use this Undyne model. I was actually going to use this model. But as you can see, you can't really see it. It's small as all heck. It's really, really small. And it's hard to see under this light. So I ended up going with this taller model again, just so you could see me. Undertale is a game that actually means a lot to me. Because, again, I grew up watching it, and when I was streaming, it was one of the more pleasant experiences that I had with streaming a game. So it was pretty fun to come back to it. Between you and me, the Undyne fight gave me a lot more trouble than the Sans fight. Because I don't know what it is with suddenly changing directions, but I can't seem to grasp that. Did I beat Sans for the video? No, I did not. At most I got to the special attack at the end, to the final attack before the special attack at the end. But I honestly do not have time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. As mentioned before, I don't really have the time because I am taking care of my dog. I'm still trying to prep her for her surgery, and I have other stuff to do around the house as well as work. So, again, I'm sorry if I couldn't beat Sans. If I ever do, I'll upload that as a short. I can promise you that. But in the meantime, if you like this video, go ahead and drop a like. It really means a lot. And if you want to hear a Corgi do dumb things and keep ranting about video game moments that, just make them nerd out, please subscribe. I would also pretty appreciate that. I would also appreciate that. I can't talk for the love of my life today. And again, thank you for watching the video. I hope you're having a swell day. Cheers.